Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with an Ashe supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at quote-unquote crit Ashe. Now I say quote-unquote because we do have some crit items here, but as you guys can see, this is not a full crit build. And why is that the case? Well, let's get straight into it. So basically, the most popular build on Ashe is on hit, which is basically looks something, like this, or sometimes with the items swapped around with all your attack speed items. But, of course, as we know, Bloodthirster is still one of the best ADC items, if not the best ADC item. And, sometimes it just makes sense to squeeze in, Bloodthirster in the build because it just gives you so much damage. And also, of course, Terminus is an insanely good item. However, some games you just need anti-heal, so More Reminder is also there for you if you, need that. So now let's take a look at the situation. So first up, we're going to start with the Gluttonous Greed for the AD and the Omnivamp. Then you get your stat stick item, which is going to be your Bloodthirster, huge amounts of AD as well as a little bit of attack speed and a good amount of physical vamp. And then, of course, being Ashe, you do want to get Runan's Hurricane to attack 3 people at the same time to, of course, not just deal damage, but also slow 3 people at the same time. Now, I will say that it is maybe interchangeable with Bork, but personally, I always go for, Runans before Bork. And then, of course, because crit Ashe is just simply not as good. Like, for example, you could go for like Runan's Hurricane. I'm not Runan's Hurricane. You could go for Phantom Dancer, for example, in this position because it gives you basically a lot of attack speed and gives you crit as well. But honestly, Phantom Dancer is just not a very good item, and Bork is just so much better. So we go for Bork despite it not being a crit item. It gives you the 80 attack speed, more physical vamp, and of course the current health on hit damage as well as the drain passive. And then we go back to a little bit of crit with the More Reminder for the Armor Pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. Again, you technically could still go for Terminus here. You just basically go Bloodthirster into a full on-hit build. That works as well. But it kind of depends on the situation, how much healing is there on the enemy team, whether you prefer More Reminder or Terminus. And then your last item is really flexible. You could go for like Wit's End because it does still give you a good amount of magic resist and healing and of course attack speed and on-hit as well. But you could go for a full-on more defensive option like for example Steric's Gauge or even something like a Black Cleaver because Ashe procs that basically instantly when you use your empowered attacks. Then for the runes, we want to go for Lethal Tempo for the attack speed as well as the additional range. Then we have Brutal, of course, for the auto attack damage, which you do a lot of, and then Giant Slayer to counter the tanks, or Coup de Grace if you're into a full squishy team. I mean, honestly, if you're into a full squishy team, you probably wouldn't be building these on-hit items, right? And Alacrity for more attack speed. Finally, we have Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities, and then we have Ghost and Flash as a summoner spells. You can go for Exhaust in very, very niche scenarios where there's multiple assassins on the enemy team, but generally Ghost is better. But with that said, let's jump into what's going to be a very long gameplay. Okay, so now let's take a look at the gameplay itself. You guys can see this is going to be a very, very long game just based on the length of this video. It's like a 30-minute banger of a game, and it gets really, really, kind of exciting. Now, you might be asking, when do you want to go for this build instead of the standard Ashe build? Well, basically, I would say it could be just a replacement for the standard Ashe build based on your personal preference. Because personally, I think that both the builds kind of work fine. It's just whether you prefer to have like a lot of attack speed with the on-hit build and very little AD, or with this build, you get some, or not some, but a good amount of AD at the beginning, but you're delaying your attack speed items to later on. So it really is kind of just personal preference which one you think is better. I think on-hit is generally like better because it synergizes more with each other, and not going for Bloodthirster is probably better. But this build I think is really viable as well. You guys will see in this match that it is, just yeah, really good. Ashe of course works with any support. With an engager, you can of course follow up on their engage with your ulti, or you can ult and let them get a free engage. With an enchanter, she is a very long range, front to back kind of ADC that you can buff her up, and she can of course, deal a good amount of damage, to the enemy team. Of course, I personally rate Ashe very highly. She's like at the top of my S tier personally because I personally feel that Ashe has just one very glaring weakness, which is that number one, she has no mobility, and number two, because of that lack of mobility, she has not a lot of outplay potential in a sense that if you get jumped on by any assassin, there's not a lot you can do. Whereas on other champions, like for example Kai'Sa, you can try to outplay the assassin. I mean, even if you're a Vayne, you can condemn them away, things like that. But if you're Ashe, the one and only thing you can do is to ult them and hope that you can run away far enough that they can't reach you, or they've blown all their cooldowns and they can't reach you. something like that. And that's kind of what frustrates me a little bit when I'm playing Ashe, which is dealing with those assassins. So if possible, I try to pick Ashe into teams that have no assassins, teams like this. And I actually like to pick Ashe into tanky teams because in general, Ashe building on hit is going to be able to deal with tanks pretty easily. And furthermore, you're going to slow down the tanks. Most tanks generally have quite poor mobility. So for example, you can see here Mordekaiser. He doesn't really have the best mobility, so he's gonna like basically slowly run at you, and with your slow, you can kind of try to kite him out. Of course, Rammus is a little bit of an exception to that because he does have the power ball and he can just roll, all the way on top of you, and we don't like that, of course. But in general, tanks are not very mobile, so I like actually playing Ashe into tanks, and I like playing Ashe into Caitlyn as well because Caitlyn's biggest advantage, of course, is her not extra, but her long base range in lane. And Ashe has the second highest range out of all ADCs, and the difference between Ashe and Caitlyn range is just very, very little. So Caitlyn cannot take advantage of her range as much, and Ashe, in my opinion, scales just as well as Caitlyn, regardless of the build that you're going. So you can kind of match her damage towards the later stages of the game as well. I think Caitlyn does still do slightly more damage than Ashe, but I think that it's quite close. So overall, I think this is a pretty good game, to go for the Ashe pick here, and I think it's gonna be, it's gonna turn out pretty well. So for the lane, so far nothing too much has happened. We're just kind of all farming, poking each other a little bit. Of course, Caitlyn, Karma have good poke. Ashe has pretty good poke as well, so we're just playing the poke game. Of course, Leona's a little bit more of an all-in champion, so we kind of have to wait for an opportunity to go all in. And aside from that, we're kind of just chilling, kind of just, getting CS, trading a little bit, nothing too big. Caitlyn already has a small goal advantage against us because she has been able to basically CS better. She hasn't actually taken any plays, so we're not off to the greatest start. But of course, Caitlyn is a lane bully, and in the mid game, Ashe is actually stronger than Caitlyn because Caitlyn has that kind of mid game power trap, whereas Ashe scales very well with each item that you get. So Ashe actually does better than Caitlyn in the mid game. Beautiful engage onto the Karma. You can see I follow up with my arrow, but unfortunately two mishaps happened there that caused us to miss out on the kill. Number one, although Leona did manage to hit all of her CC onto Karma, she actually ulted behind the Karma, kind of predicting that the Karma will move, but how can Karma move when she CC'd? So a whiff on the Leona ult there. Number one, did not hold Karma in place, and number two, Karma ulted me and I was on the ring of the donut, and I got pulled back to the center, so I was not able to get the extra attack range to deal with the Karma. I think, not I think, but if I had flash there, I could have gotten the kill on Karma, but I also would have to blow my flash. So overall, Leona missing her ulti plus me refusing to flash basically led to us missing out on the kill onto Karma, which is kind of sad because overall we do blow both of our ultimates for it and two of our summoner spells. Whereas, of course, we blew both of Karma's summoner spells, but Caitlyn is still absolutely fine, still has ult and both sums, because she was never in any danger, so, yeah. Good news is that me and Leona both still have flash, so the situation is still not, not totally lost. Here Rammus is engaging onto Master Yi, and there's really nothing we can do to help because the bot lane is zoning us away. Although we do have priority, but we're just getting zoned away, and the enemy team are 4 men on the dragon, and yeah, there's not really very much we can do. Of course, we can get this wave in because Leona has all 3 stacks of her support items, so we can destack the support item. Ashe just randomly comes in there, and we actually get into a small little skirmish. Now Rammus is rolling his way here, actually doesn't have the roll, flashes forward to engage onto me, and I have to flash away because Caitlyn and Ashe are coming to follow up, and we don't really want that. So here my team is now coming in for the counter gank. Echo comes in and goes onto the Rammus. Leona picks up a kill onto him. Echo has to ult to get back his health, and we nearly kill Ashe, but he barely goes out of range, and we're a little bit too low ourselves. If we chase Ashe, we might be able to get him, but we will definitely die for it to the Caitlyn, which is a trade that I don't really want to take. So instead, I'm just going to back. Now you can see the sort of drawback of going for Bloodthirster as a first item compared to Bork is that Bloodthirsters are more expensive items, so we can't actually complete it just yet. Whereas Caitlyn has Stormrazor, which is a good like 400 gold, I think, less than Bloodthirster if I'm not mistaken. So she has a completed first item, although we have pretty comparable gold. at this point. So here Rammus is obviously doing the Herald, and I believe Karma has rotated. Yep, she did. She has rotated because we can't see her on vision. Leona was on the rotation, but since our team is pretty much not contesting anyway, she actually rotates back to my lane to basically help me out and put pressure onto the Caitlyn where we can't execute a dive if she, sticks around. She does wisely reset or just leave the general vicinity. So we are instead just going to start blasting the tower and picking up tower plates. We actually get 3 full plates, which pretty much recoups some of our goal deficit against Caitlyn, and then we also are able to shove in this minion wave to force in the CS and the tower. Now, we know we're safe because we can see Rammus in the mid lane, we can see Karma in the top lane, and Akshan is dead. So we know it's only Caitlyn there. And Leona whiffed and engaged there, but if she had hit, I was ready to cancel my recall and follow up. But since it did not hit, we are able to reset, get a Bloodthirster as well as an additional dagger, and then hit back out. So far 7 minutes into the game, it has been honestly really boring. Aside from that one kind of failed kill attempt onto the Karma, pretty much nothing has really happened. Yes, we had that like gank kind of thing from like Rammus and Echo coming into the lane, and Akshan as well. But not too much has really happened, all things considered. It's been a pretty tame game, at least on my part. I'm 0-0-1, and we have Caitlyn on 1-0-0, and yeah, nothing too much is really happening. We haven't really got to any interesting fights or anything like that. Sometimes it's just like that. You're just gonna farm. You're just gonna get gold and just get items. It's sometimes not too complicated. Mordekaiser just runs straight at us, and we can't really auto attack him because if we get into auto attack range, he might ult us. So that's why I'm kind of just staying pretty far away. I pretty much just hit him with the slow, and then I just run away. Karma now hits me with a mantra Q, and here I'm thinking we might be in a little bit of trouble because we might get dove, but we're fine. We're able to clear the wave in time, and we should be all right. Now Rammus is missing, and with Rammus here we can definitely dive, which is why I'm walking way back, because if Rammus just rolls in and starts tanking, we can get 4-man dove. Because we know Akshan is at top lane, so we know he's not involved in dive. Now we see Rammus, and I'm really panicking. So I flash away from the Rammus, and Leona has to flash as well. I'm trying to slow down the Rammus and kite away. Leona hits a good ult onto Karma to stop her advance, but eventually she gets ulted by Mordekaiser and does go down. Mordekaiser gets the Leona stats, and here I'm now on tier 2, still in danger of getting dove. However, I'm wasting a lot of their time, and their wave is gone, so they can't actually push anymore. In the meantime, my team is able to pick up the top lane tier 1, and I think the mid lane tier 2. Yes, they do. So we got 2 towers for the death of Leona, which as of now is worth. I say as of now because they are overstaying and they are getting into a fight. So this could mean that we might lose out on some kills. Rammus is actually almost dead, but unfortunately, instead it is Master Yi who dies. So maybe not as worth anymore. 2 kills for 3 towers now, because Teemo got another tower. I think that's still alright. Actually, nope. It's now Echo dies as well. So nice. 3 kills for 3 towers, and I think that honestly, that's not even that bad, right? Because getting full towers is giving you a lot of extra map pressure, and it's a kill as well. Not a kill, but it gives you gold as well. Here, Rammus just runs straight at me and taunts me. I can't really do anything here. I have to do what I basically said just now, which is to basically just stun him and run away. Now here, I'm trying to auto-attack him once in a while to reapply my slow so he can't catch up. He now power balls straight towards me. Teemo blinds him, and I get taunted. Now, unfortunately, he's not able to finish the kill on me, and I actually survived on 1 HP, but on the flip side, Leona did end up dying for it, so overall it's a 1-for-1 trade support for jungle, which I actually think is an okay trade. Both of them are have about the same amount of gold, so it's actually honestly still an alright trade. Like he basically decided to commit to the kill at that point because he was so far overextended that if he tried to run away, he probably wasn't going to make it, so I think that was the right choice. But unfortunately for him, he was not able to get the kill. Caitlyn, also very overextended, but we're not really able to catch her because she actually runs to the top side. And now it's really weird because Dragon is now up. The enemy team looks like they want to do it, like Akshan and Karma wants to do it, but their jungler is not with them. Their jungler is not there at all. So here I'm spotting them like started. I'm kind of conflicted. Should I contest the dragon or should I help my team at top? Where is the Rammus? Questions like these all just run through my head, and in the end I just get mid lane priority, and no point contesting the dragon by myself, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and see if my team need any help. Doesn't look like that's the case, and instead I'm going to actually back And you will notice that I actually walked towards my team here, and the main reason I did that was not actually really to help them because I knew the fight was over. But the main reason is that I still don't know where the Rammus is. So Rammus is likely either going to come straight down mid lane or from the bot side river. So I'm walking away from where I think he's going to come from, and also closer to my team so that if he comes, they are able to help. So honestly, in this game, my main issue right now is the Rammus, right? Caitlyn's not a very big problem, neither is Karma or Akshan. The main problem that I'm having at the moment is that Rammus is able to basically dash straight on top of me and CC me. And yeah, that is never what you want as an ADC. So, that's really the main issue, right? There's nothing much I can really do about that. I kind of need my team to peel for me, and really the only one who can peel is actually Leona. But yeah, it's kind of a really tough situation for Ashe, which is why she really hates playing against assassins. Now Ram is not even an assassin, but just look at that. He forces me to pop Flash and Ghost, and then Teemo has to come in to kind of help out a little bit. And now I'm just kiting away from their entire team, and I pretty much done nothing except waste 2 summoner spells. I wouldn't say waste because it did save my life, but yeah, it's yeah. Rammus is like in this match, to me, Rammus is an assassin because Rammus can actually kill me just by like jumping on top of me. So here, enemy team is trying to start off a Baron. We actually have 3 people here to contest. And here I'm just free firing. You can see that basically no one is focusing me. I'm free firing at the moment and they're all really low. So here I'm thinking something can be done. I have Runans, which is causing me to hit extra people as well. I actually killed 2 people in the back. And Akshan goes down to the Teemo Shroom. And eventually we actually get the kill. I get a triple and I'm thinking Baron is ours. But unfortunately what I did notice is Rammus is back. And how did he come back? I swear I killed him. And on the replay I went to check out what exactly happened. And now I realize what happened. Basically, the one who killed Rammus, I believe, is actually Master Yi. And when Akshan killed Master Yi, Rammus actually revived. So actually, what we did here is we actually aced the enemy team. But because Master Yi died, Akshan revived the Rammus. And so after we killed the other 4 of them, Rammus is now rolling his way from base back to Baron. And after we wiped them all, I was like, yes, we changed the game completely here. We killed them all and we're going to get Baron. Well, we did kill them all, but we did not get Baron because Rammus respawn, hops the wall, and simply smites it away, and I'm just sad, right? Like, that was such an amazing fight where, it's a dream ADC fight where you just stand behind, your tank, which in this case was Leona, and you just free fire, right? No one cares that you're there. I was free firing for a good number of seconds before anyone actually decided to hit me. And by then, I was kind of taking over the fight already. So here Rammus is on me again. And yeah, you can see I try to stun him, but this time I kind of fail. Locket comes in to basically save my life. I have to kind of pop the fruit and try desperately to get my health back. Rammus does int his life away though. So overall, it's not really a huge loss, I guess you could say. Like I did, risk dying, but in the end Rammus did die, so I guess that was good. So Master Yi comes in on a very, very weird flank. And Caitlyn survives on 1 HP. I get ulted by Mordekaiser, and here you can see I'm kiting for my life, but this is the edge of his death realm, and eventually he does grab me because I have nowhere else to run, and he does kill me right as I exit the realm, but my team wasn't there to help me anyway. So here, Master Yi is going in, he's kind of alone, he gets whacked away but goes back in again, and now everybody is 1 HP, all 3 of my teammates are 1 HP, the T-Hex is like not 1 HP, but it's pretty low as well. Mordekaiser is now chasing the Teemo who goes into stealth. He's stealthing all the way into the bush, and I think this is a very predictable backing location. I was thinking this was not the best idea, but Mordekaiser decides that he's not gonna chase the Teemo, and he's instead just gonna go for the wave, which, sure, the wave is guaranteed. Teemo might just end up wasting our time. But in this case, I think Teemo picked a horrible spot to recall. I think Mordekaiser could have killed him if Mordekaiser decided to chase. So, unfortunate for the Mordekaiser, he didn't get it. Now at this point, I've picked up my Bork, which is my 3rd item. And this Bork is going to work wonders against the 2 tanks of Rammus and Mordekaiser. They are starting to get pretty tanky already. Mort has the Psychic Projector, which definitely is going to help him be tanky. And Rammus does have a couple of 3 full tank items for the matter, and he has health as well. So here, I'm basically doing the same thing where I'm auto-attacking over the wall. I'm free hitting onto Mordekaiser for a long time, but the enemy team does get sold. We looks like we're looking for a fight. Though Echo has a very strange flank, but it does work. Caitlyn does end up getting CC'd, and I'm able to pick up the Caitlyn. Now I'm hitting whoever is the first target, which in this case is Rammus, I believe. And I pick up a double. I try to flash forward over for the triple, which I do get, but unfortunately this disaster strikes, which is I focused the wrong target. I focused the Karma, but I should be focusing the Akshan instead, because Akshan has an annoying revive passive on his W. So what ends up happening is I do pick up the kill onto the Karma, which is nice, but then Akshan kills me and all three of them are revived. So basically, I kind of single-handedly lost my team the fight there, because I went for the wrong target, and as a result, now 4 of my team are dead and the entire enemy team is alive, and that is basically a Baron for the enemy team again, which is very unfortunate. Like, there are just those games that Akshan can change the game. There are just those games that Akshan is useless. I mean, even in games that Akshan is useless, if he just does one of these kind of insane revives in the late game, he could have gotten all his value already. So Akshan gets them the revive, and essentially Akshan gets them the Baron because of the revive. And now I'm just left, staring at the grayscreen, regretting my decisions to focus the wrong target. And now we have to defend against a second Baron of the game. So here Echo goes in. I'm basically again hitting the first target. In this case, it's the Rammus. I slow him down. He can't escape. Teemo gets the kill. And now in comes Mordekaiser and, Caitlyn as well. Now here I'm just trying to hit whoever I can to get my lethal tempo, continuing to stack. Now here Mordekaiser really can't run because I'm Ashe and I can just slow him down. He gets shut down eventually. I'm trying to slow Caitlyn down now, but I run into a trap, which the hitbox on that trap is pretty huge because I was actually trying to avoid the trap, but I was failing miserably, I guess. T-Hex is the only one left alive. I'm thinking, let's not waste time on the T-Hex. Let's just get the Elder. Like, no one cares about the Karma. So here I'm trying to solo the Elder Dragon. My team is coming over to help. And now the issue here is that Master Yi is only now just making... He's not even making his way here, by the way. He's going the top lane. And the issue is that Karma can steal the Elder just with her Mantra Q. So I have to make sure Karma is not in the picture. I put the ward there to kind of check. She decides to give up the attempt to steal. And we are able to secure the Elder Dragon for everybody other than Echo. Now here I want to reset, or I want to get the bot wave. And my team decides to engage in after I've backed off. And that is kind of horrible because Teemo basically just ends his life. And so does Leona. So now only me and Master Yi have Elder left, and we've lost so much tempo because we now have 2 team members who are dead while we have Elder, and Echo has just respawned. So now we're only three members alive, which is makes it very hard for us to use Elder. The enemy team can kind of basically do what they want. Like, you can see we have Elder, but they're the ones that are pushing in all of the lanes, which is just messed up, right? So here Echo is now the one in trouble. I'm trying to keep Karma away from the Echo, I guess. Like, there's not too much I can really do here. I can just face check and walk in. Echo escapes using the Hex Gate, which is a pretty interesting one. And now I'm going to go back. I'm running out of mana. Pick up my Mole Reminder components, which at this point is very, very needed. Like, we really need that Mole Reminder to counter the tanks. So here with the Elder buff, we are trying to clear waves at our Nexus. Or at our inhibitors, and yeah, so we haven't really, we probably won't be able to really make use of the Elder at this rate. Like, we're just clearing waves at this point. Baron's coming up in half a minute, and by then I think Elder would have expired. I realized that they don't have the Elder timer anymore on the replay tool, which I think is pretty strange. They used to have that. I thought that was amazing, but I don't know when did it go missing, but it did at some point. So here we're able to actually get a huge pickup, which is our Mole Reminder. Mordekaiser is completely out of position, and he's going to get cleaned up by my team. But unfortunately, Teemo does a very stupid thing, which he's 1 HP, and he decides to walk close to Mordekaiser, which I'm not sure why. So Mordekaiser ults him and gets a 1-for-1 trade. My team is getting into a fight, and I believe my fastest way to the fight is via the Hex Gate. So I'm taking the Hex Gate there. Elder has already expired, so now I'm just blasting Akshan. This time I'm not going to make the same mistake. I flash forward, kill the Akshan, and now I'm hitting the first target, which happens to be, again, the Rammus. Rammus gets on top of me by QSS. Unfortunately, I still end up dying eventually, and yeah, you can see there's not too much I can do against him. Thankfully, though, Echo is able to do a significant chunk of damage to him and is eventually able to get the kill. At this point, my Echo and my Leona are pushing mid, and the whole enemy team is dead, so they should probably be able to get a mid lane tower. mid lane inhibitor, sorry. Echo uses his ult. I think that was a little bit unnecessary. Could have just waited for the wave there, but they do get the inhibitor tower, and that's pretty much all they're gonna get because the enemy team is respawning. Now the bot wave is actually pushing in, and I think Echo can actually one-shot the bot lane tower, but instead he's trying to find a pick. So he wards over the wall, and he's trying to look for somebody to one-shot. Now the issue is that he can't one-shot Mordekaiser, and so wisely he is ignoring the Mordekaiser. He's not trying to one-shot the Mordekaiser. But now the issue is he's staying here for a good like 10 seconds, and then he gets spotted by the Squire's Bloom, and now he gets engaged on by Rammus. Thankfully, he has a very well-placed W to kind of escape. Rammus is hardcore chasing him, and the rest of us are coming to help. He's getting taunted, he needs to ult, but he can't because he's chained CC. I actually ult the Mordekaiser here to prevent him from entering the fight. I was actually aiming for the Caitlyn, but I hit the Mordekaiser instead. Now I'm getting focused down. I'm trying to get someone to block the Akshan out for me, but this puts me in a position where I'm stuck in the pit, so I can't actually escape because I don't have flash. The only thing I can do is try to output as much damage as I can before I die, which is basically what I tried to do to Mordekaiser, but honestly the damage is kind of irrelevant. Here, Masti is trying some kind of weird backdoor. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do, but the good news about this whole situation is our wave states are amazing, right? All our waves are pushing in, and the enemy team actually has to recall to stop our minions from taking their inhibitors, which is pretty amazing. And here, Master Yi gets caught into a fight with Rammus, and Rammus should be countering Master Yi here, but they actually end up doing like roughly the same damage. To be honest, Master Yi escapes with a sliver of HP, and unfortunately, I panned to the wrong person, and we didn't get to see my team die there, but as you guys can see from the announcement, Teemo and Leona ends up dying. And now my team is getting into a very kind of toxic cycle of we never have 5 people alive at the same time. Somebody is dying when somebody is respawning. Like, for example, I died, and then now when I respawn, Teemo and Leona dies, and we never have like full strength. So now we have a very big problem, which is Elder is now up, and me and Echo are the only two contesting the Elder. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to maybe get a random lucky auto attack, but enemy team gets the Elder Dragon. Rammus is running all the way in, and so is Mordekaiser, because they have the Elder, they have nothing to be scared of, presumably. And this Elder is going to lead to them getting a Baron as well. And I can't even keep track of how many Barons and Elders have gone. Like, this is like, what, the second Elder, and this is like the 3rd or 4th Baron of the game. Like, it's just whack at this point. The game is lasting so long, and this is just one of those games where the game is so even. Like, if you take a look at the goal, both teams have like basically the same goal. Enemy team does have Mountain Dragon Soul, but it's, I mean, I won't say it's not relevant. It is definitely relevant for like Rammus and Mordekaiser especially. But like, it's so even that, you know, no one can really win, right? The enemy team hasn't got any of our inhibitors. We've only gotten their mid lane one, which is not a very relevant you know, tower. Mastery gets their tier 2 tower, leaving only their inhibs left. Here, Leona gets ulted by Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser has Baron. Leona is caught in no man's land and dies. Here, Teemo dies as well with the Elder. And I'm thinking that, you know, the game is probably lost here. Honestly, at this point, I wasn't giving up on the game, but I was thinking that there's no way we win this game, right? Like, the enemy team has Elder, and they're gonna get Baron now. And then with Elder and Baron, there's no way we can survive. And also, of course, the Elder is not going to last for that long, but I believe that they will still have a little bit of Elder by the time they get Baron and come push. So I'm like, man, this game is probably over at this point. And in this game, I actually pivot my build. Like, I actually go for a Black Cleaver last item because the enemy team is so tanky that I need Black Cleaver to shred their armor on top of the Bork and on top of the Mole Reminder. Of course, this will also be very helpful in terms of helping, like, you know, Master Yi do more damage, for example. You know, first because it shreds armor for the entire team. And we also swapped our boots to armor boots because their entire team all does physical damage except the Karma. Karma is currently in the T-Hex, so that's not the most relevant. So here Rammus is just rolling straight at us. Honestly, Rammus is inting here. I mean, he's tanky, but why is he rolling straight at us? Eventually, I am able to pick up the kill on him. I'm getting annihilated by the T-Hex, though. And now I'm like 1 HP. I need someone to block for me. Thankfully, Echo is able to successfully block for me. Thumbs up from me. And I wanted to back, but I'm thinking that here I can just DPS The Mordekaiser, he ults me, and I go unstoppable to prevent myself from getting pulled in, and that honestly saved my life, because he can't walk into the tower here. And then he comes out of the Death Realm, not respawn. He comes out of Death Realm, my entire team is ready to kill him, and now we're back in the game. So now, only the Caitlyn and only the T-Hex is left alive at this point, and I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute, the game is winnable, right? So Karma now gets caught, Echo picks up a triple, everybody dies on the enemy team, and I'm looking at the death timers. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna end the game because Rammus and Akshan are both respawning, but there's no objectives to take at this point, and our inhibitor just died to minions. Our other inhibitor looks like it's about to die to minions as well. Massey going to kind of the wrong lane here, but you know, what else are we gonna do other than push? There's no objective to take, there's nothing to really do. So we end up losing both our inhibs to minions, and I honestly think we probably should just tank the enemy inhib and just take the inhib. Like with Leona tanking, I think we could have actually taken the inhibs, but it didn't occur to me when I was actually playing the game. Here, again, I stun Rammus because I don't want him to engage onto me, and that's kind of the whole goal here. But now the game is a little bit hard for us, right? Because now enemy super minions are coming in from the side lanes, and we don't have any of their inhibs, so we're gonna lose priority on all of those lanes. Now here, Leona's in trouble, and I'm actually thinking that, wait, you know, I'm Ashe, like I can probably slow down Rammus to a point where Leona can escape. So here, I'm just slowing him down, even when he's in his power ball, I'm just slowing him down to an extent that he can't actually, you know, reach. And here, unfortunately, I get caught by Mordekaiser, and I try to predict Mordekaiser out with my QSS, but turns out he doesn't even have it, as we can see from the replay tool. Now here, Elder is spawning again, and I'm already full build. But the reason why I'm taking this wave is because I'm trying to prevent it from ending the game. And here, Echo decides to just commit to the end. And just look at it, he basically one-shots the base, ults back, and he's going back into the base again, I believe. I help with a little bit with my ult to just stun one guy to ensure that, he can't really interfere, and Echo is able to basically solo end the game. And yeah, that was a banger of a game. It was a huge 30-minute one, but we do end up pulling out the victory. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.